Okay, so good morning. My name is Alan. Today I'm making Agedashi Tofu, or Japanese Fried Tofu with, I suppose, homemade tsu or dashi, you could say. Now, what is Agedashi Tofu? Age in Japanese, or ageru, means to fry, and dashi is, well, dashi or the stock. And tofu or tofu is, again, tofu. It is a very simple dish that, for light in taste, but very satiating. Something that is easy to make, and you don't have to be that technical or experienced of a home cook to impress people that you make it for. In the end, what I want to achieve is sort of a light crispy tofu that has a very thin outer crumb, you could say, a very balanced homemade tsu-yu, and well balanced toppings. This is tsu-yu. You can get pre-made stuff, it's basically a concentrate, but yeah, I'm showcasing how to make tsu-yu in the ratio of 5 parts dashi, 1 part mirin, and adjusting the soy sauce to taste is how I made the tsu-yu, which will be the flavoring for the tofu. This will be some sort of extension towards the dashi video and what you can do with dashi. I do hope you'll have a look, but go over a brief overview of that in this video too. I did again with the dashi. I made it out of bonito, shiitake mushroom, and kombu kelp or seaweed. If you don't have access to the dashi ingredients, you can always look at the full extensive video that I made. But the dashi powder, I added some extra because some of the stuff that I used was also already used, so I'm trying to extract milk from a cow that has no milk, basically. After you made the dashi, get your soy sauce and mirin. Boil the alcohol out of the mirin. Once you do that, add the dashi back and can slowly add soy sauce to adjust for taste. And soy sauce can vary in saltiness, based on brand, and so Kikkoman is pretty good, so any Japanese one, but again, it's just based on the brand. And the finished product there you get is tsu-yu.
Yeah, it's not bad.
What I use for toppings, spring onions, daikon or Chinese radish, you could say, and somewhat optionally shimi. Or another topping is nori or seaweed that you can put on it, which is also quite nice. I thinly sliced the spring onions, just because you kind of do that with every single Japanese dish, maybe. And then I grated the daikon radish. Now, I did know this, daikon radish actually when grated becomes a bit spicy. It's a little bit harsh. It's almost like the uncomfortableness you get from when you eat too much pineapple, is how I could describe it. If you cut the mushroom, that's great. You can cut little patterns on it, the little starry pattern. I also grated some ginger. Okay, the most exciting part, the tofu. Okay, so what I did is, whilst wasteful, I did trim off the edges to make it look nice and clean and even. I would suggest not making it too small, otherwise the tofu could crumble apart in your hands. I did dry the outside out so that too much moisture wouldn't attract way too much cornstarch that I would now dip it into. Now the thing is, cornstarch is the only starch I really had. I wasn't really sure what specific starch. I believe potato starch would be better, just because it creates a more appropriate coating per se. I didn't need anything else, no salt, just dunk that thing in corn flour. One very thin layer is what I did. Pat it off as much as I could and deep fried it in oil that is just hot enough that it causes the chopsticks to bubble. You don't need to cook it for very long. If the oil stays hot, maybe 30 seconds to a minute at most. All you're looking for is a crispy outside. If you cook it way too long, it will explode and you will have exposed tofu and it's going to get weird. So just avoid that. And if it gets puffy, it might be a visual indicator that it's done. Also, if it gets too brown, that's also too bad. You want it to be white as you possibly could. What I learnt from working at Japanese restaurants is they often use grated ginger as part of a decorative reason, but it does add a nice taste to it that you would mix along with the grated daikon. And when you mix the grated stuff in with the tsu-yu that you make, it sort of, I want to say thickens the sauce, but it helps cling to the tofu much better. And you can add more of a saucy I guess, to the tofu. I think that's why people have it, on top of the fact that it tastes good with it. I'd say I did a pretty good job for the first time I'm making it at home after 3 years of not doing it ever. Alright, don't put it on a lid. For visual purposes, I think this was the best we had, but realistically, to be truthful, I don't think I put enough soy sauce in the tsu-yu, so it's a little bit less salty as I'd like, but it was still just as satiating and unctuous, you could say. Let's be honest, you're filming, so it's not as hot and crispy as I'd like, but yeah, it's definitely tasty. It's got that crispy texture. Wanted something fried but not oily or that heavy. I do recommend trying it. It was very easy to make, deep fried stuff, but it's probably not that many calories, and I made sure that I have all my toppings together. I'm not much of the presenter type, but I'll get there soon. Thanks for watching.